Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Chiaran Breslin. Did I pronounce it right? I hope
Caroline,
so.
you got it spot on.
Thank you so much.
Very many.
Yeah, yeah. I want to tell the audience how we met. We met through the Napoleon Hill Institute. It was 1 year ago, or we met in April 2023 in person. It was really inspiring. We had a 3 days event, live training. And yeah, I remember you as a very calm person, peaceful. And I learned so much because we were seated. We were seated in in a restaurant. And we talked a little bit. So now I would like you to introduce yourself to the audience, please.
Oh, thank you so much, Caroline. Yes, it's been almost a year already since we did meet, and what a fantastic few days we had. It was so inspiring, going with the theme of inspiration. It was a phenomenal event with Napoleon Hill Institute. What Cleona and the team have created there is fantastic. There was so many people that inspired me that day, you being one of them. And when I seen the podcast that you've been doing and how many people and how many guests you've had, Caroline, it's so inspiring. From an inspired thought, you took massive action, and now look at how far this has come. And you were just sharing me the next level that it's going to. So it's phenomenal. You should be very, very proud. For me, Caroline, yes, it's been almost a year, and I spent some time with Napoleon Hill Institute in New York, which was coming off the back of me spending a few years at the Proctor Gallagher Institute, working closely with Bob's sales team, working closely with Bob himself and Rash Vasugi. And when I came back from, we speak about inspiration, when I came back from the Napoleon Hill event in New York, I was inspired to start my own company. I had been helping so many people in other companies. I had been a leader for, must be almost 20 years with my other businesses, which is in the restaurant trade. But through the coaching services that I was providing and through being around like-minded people like you, like Cleona, and like all the other people that was there at the event, I thought to myself, my wife also does this, so she's an amazing coach also. And I thought, let's put our two amazing minds together and create what we have now very successfully created, the Elite Mindset Academy, Caroline, which is almost 1 year old also. It was around April of last year we created this, and now we're serving people all over the world. So it's inspiring to be around those people. It really makes you think bigger. And when I came back, I realized that I had to start taking this, like you said to me, to the next level.
Oh, I love that you shared this. I didn't know this because we had not so much contact, but we were busy with our own stuff, of
Yeah.
course, building the companies, and this is really inspiring. You mentioned your wife, and I see her. Maybe I could request her for another podcast episode. This would
Love,
be great.
love
Yeah.
her, Caroline. You would love her.
Oh, thank you so much. I look forward to it. And now my first question is, what inspires you?
Oh, well, we were just speaking about her. My wife, she really inspires me. She inspires me every day. We talk about accountability partners. She is my biggest accountability partner, Caroline. And what she does, what we have came through over the years, she inspires me to get better every single day. But really, it's a very one-dimensional answer. But for me to go deeper with that, anyone that is willing to change, self-development, it's not easy in the beginning. When you want to make those changes, you have to start with making that decision that you want to make the changes. Now, the process itself is very easy, Caroline. We know that, but it's not easy because the old program will pull you back and try and get you to stay where you are. But anyone that is willing to be determined to make that decision, to be committed to developing themselves, inspires me. The people I work with, the people I coach, the people that I be mentored from, anyone that makes that decision to really develop and change themselves is an inspiration to me.
Wow. Thank you
Mm.
so much. Yes, and this ignites me even more to continue what I'm doing. Inspiration is everything. I found this out. I didn't know this before because my question was, what inspires you? You mentioned persons. Um, Like what? It can be nature as well, or
Well,
books.
Caroline, I live for travel. Travel is one of my biggest inspirations. Travel, uh, new cultures, new foods, nature, just being around nature. I spent a month in the Himalayas last year, going to Everest Base Camp. Just before we arrived in New York, just before I met you, I had just come back from traveling in Nepal. And, I try and see as many countries as possible. Nature, travel, new foods and cultures is probably one of the biggest inspirations that drives me to do what I do. It gives me what I do, I can do from anywhere, as we both know, Caroline. So it gives me the opportunity, the vessel. It gives me the freedom to be able to follow my inspired thoughts, follow my inspired ideas of where I want to go, where I want to travel, what type of foods I want to, really start appreciating, and different cultures. So that's probably, aside my family, my clients, my kids, outside of that, it's my travel, my food, and being in nature is a massive inspiration, Caroline.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. And I remember this. I looked up your Facebook page, I think, to to see the beautiful pictures you took. And I thought you were kidding me. I thought,
Hey.
what you were you you were, yeah, really. I remember this when we were at the dinner. Yeah, and you talked about that.
Yeah, it was
Really.
a phenomenal time.
Mm.
Just experiencing the way, different people and different cultures live their lives. And, we talk about programming, Caroline. We are programmed to live the way we are programmed, but there's so many different cultures around the world that have a different programming. And, but every single person has the power within them to make whatever changes they want. And the people that does that, that's what inspires me to do what I do. If I can help them in any way, if I can inspire them to get better every day, that's what drives me. That's my big motivator to do this every single day.
Wow. Thank you so much. I never thought about it. Normally, you think about travel as, traveling is for pleasure.
Yeah, well, of course, it's always about pleasure. Life is about pleasure. We're
Mm.
here for a very short time in this physical vessel that we have. We both know that, Caroline. But everything we do is for pleasure. But if I can inspire people along the way, and I can bring people on this journey to show them that they can have a change. Now, lots of people are happy with the lives that they have, but so many people that I speak to want change in their lives. And if I can inspire them and help them and show them the tools that they already have that can make those changes, then that's what I'm here for, Caroline.
Wow, it sounds so simple when you explain it. Like you ask people if they want to change, and you found out that they want to change, and then you say, mm, I have something that helps you to change. I can inspire you.
Yeah, well, not only did I have something for them, they already have something that can change them. Because that change starts with you. It starts with me. If it's me who wants to change, you have to put priority on you first, Caroline. And this may sound selfish. Some people may think that, being putting yourself as number one is selfish, but it's not.
Mm.
If I work on me every day and I work on being the best version that I am, then everyone else is going to be inspired by that. Everyone else is going to get a better version of who Kieran is. If you work on you, everyone's going to get a better version of who Caroline is. So we can't, I always say, we can't pour from an empty cup, Caroline. We have to fill our own cup. And once we fill our own cup, everyone else is getting a much better version of who we actually are.
Oh, that's true. And you mentioned you inspire other people to change or to evoke their potential to make the change. And how do you inspire others?
Well, like I said, Caroline, show them that they already have every single thing within them. People are not aware of, number one, they're not aware of how much power they actually have. We all tap into the same power. You and I are both energy. You and I are both tapping into the same universal power. When we show people and inspire them through our own results, Caroline, I show people through my results of what can be done. Because if me and you met about 5 years ago, I was a different person. I had no idea about this material. I had no idea who Napoleon Hill was. I had no idea who Bob Proctor was. These are the big people that changed my life. But once someone showed me the direction, once someone showed me that it wasn't something that I had to find on the outside. People are searching for something on the outside of them. Once someone showed me the tools and the avenues that I had within me, that to bring those out, bring those things that, our higher faculties for one, we speak about our higher faculties. I didn't know how to think, Caroline. When I realized how to actually use my reasoning faculty, how to use my imagination, how to tap into that beautiful imagination that we all have. My little girl she's almost 10 years of age now. She's still living her life through her imagination. But without my knowledge now, being around other people in schools and the environment, that beautiful gift would start to be lost. She would stop using that imagination, but I'm going to make it my mission that she keeps using that beautiful imagination the way it should be. I had to wait until I was 40 years of age until I started using it again. But that was something that I had within me, Caroline, that everyone has. It lay dormant because no one showed me how to use it. But once you be shown how to use those beautiful gifts we have, anything is possible. Anything is possible. And I mean anything, Caroline. That sounds like a big idea for lots of people to accept. But when you truly see the potential within each and every single person, accept that idea right away. Just accept the idea because we all have it.
Wow. I love what you said. Anything is possible. And it all starts with a decision. You make a
Yeah,
decision.
it starts with a decision. We can't do anything without a decision. But, that decision has to be a decision that you make every single day. When you go on this journey, it's not just making a decision. I want to invest in, a course. I want to invest in reading books. I've got books everywhere, Caroline. But the answer, and this is my favorite, the answer isn't inside the books. The answer is inside you. The books will give you the knowledge and the understanding. But you have to make that decision to, number one, read those books every day, to make that decision to take the action every day. Your podcast wouldn't be successful if you didn't take the action to do number one. Now you're on, what number are you on now?
Number 116.
Look at that. That's inspiring on its own. But that started with you making a decision. That started with an idea. You wouldn't be at 116 without making that decision. And that's why you have to make that decision every single day to be better. That's my big motivator every day, is to get at least 1% better every single day. That's what drives me.
You know what you just said? I had I had an aha moment when you were talking about the book. I have this book too. It is 3 meters away from it is one of my favorite books, Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard and Awakening Imagination. Of course, the version of the book that Bob always recommended. Buy the
Mine is
book with the
falling
you have
apart, Caroline. It's in pieces
oh
because I
my
hate it so
goodness.
much.
And you mentioned that it's like you just have to awake it in yourself because it's already there. And that reminded me of Universal Mind because the author of the book has has it from Universal Mind. It's all there. The knowledge is there. You just have to remember or remind yourself.
Well, that's it. When we came into this physical body, this vessel that we have, like I said, for a short time, we had all the knowledge within us when we arrived here. We just forgot it. You just said that now. We just forgot it. Along the way, through the programming of other people, through listening to other people, we forgot all that knowledge. But this is what the books do. The books, the knowledge, the understanding, it makes us remember. It makes us become more aware. And that conscious awareness is exactly what we have to grow. We have to grow our awareness so that we can change our results.
Wow. Thank you so much. Repetition is key. We have to grow our awareness.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And what are your gifts and talents?
Oh, wow. My gifts and talents. Well, they've changed over the years, Caroline. I would never have thought, if you asked me 5 years ago, I would not have imagined being on podcasts. I would not have imagined being on stages, speaking to people. But, that's a gift and a talent that I have now that I was not aware of. We speak about the awareness. I already had that, but I wasn't aware of it until I took the action. I made a decision that I wanted to change. I made a decision that I wanted to speak on stages, that I wanted to be on podcasts. But I couldn't do that without taking the action, Caroline. It would be very easy for me to say no when you asked me to come on this podcast. But that talent that I have now, it was already there. It was already locked away. I just had to become more aware. I just had to be aware by taking the action and doing it. And that's what confidence does. The more action we take, the more confidence we gain, Caroline. Everything is available for us, everything we can do, but we have to go do it. We have to go do it. And that's a brain tattoo that I have, Caroline. Do it now. Bob Proctor taught me that so many years ago. No matter how small the task, whether it's being on a podcast, whether it's going to get fuel in the car, when you have that inspired thought that you have to do it now, you do it immediately. The more you do that with the small things, the more it passes through to the bigger things in life. It becomes a habit, it becomes a new behavior. So do it now is three of my favorite words.
Thank you so much. You reminded me of that. Of course, I knew it already. I read it somewhere, but it is not a habit of mine. It can be my new habit. Do it now. I love that you mentioned it.
Start with the small things. It's so easy.
This is for everyone. Do it
Every
now.
And it's one of the things, it's one of the main things that I teach people immediately, Caroline. You know, let's say you wanted to change being a procrastinator. You know, my big thing for me was I always started things but never finished them. You know, started lots of different projects but never finished them. But when I started really making a decision to change that, it started with the small things. It started with doing those small things immediately. And now, when I have a big decision to make, you know, life-changing decisions, I'm actually in the process at the moment of changing countries. I'm moving from Ireland to New York, and that decision came so quickly because I started with all the small things a few years ago. Now, big decisions seem so small. Just make that decision immediately. They can always be changed, Caroline.
Wow, this is really eye-opening today. Thank you so much. And I have a last question for you. Okay. After this podcast episode is published, then people will reach out to you, of course, to get to know you more and your work. And my question is, do you have a special offer for the Inspired Podcast community?
Special offer is if you need any help with anything at all, I'm always here for anyone to reach out to, Caroline. You know, to me, I'm a coach that has transformed my life this last 5 years. I've transformed not just my life, but my clients, my families, my inner circle. Everyone that's around me changes because I inspire other people. So if this podcast inspires anyone in any way, Caroline, I'm sure you're going to share my Instagram or some form of handle that's attached to me. I encourage you to reach out to me because if this inspires you at all, let me speak to you and I will inspire you even more.
Thank you. I can feel it. It was very inspiring now, and it will last. The energy, the energy you transported through that episode. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you so much for having me, Caroline. And it was a pleasure to see you again.
Yeah. See you in the next episode, of course.